how to be ultimately happy right here, right now. Life is suffering if we let it be. Guaranteed, you will end your suffering in that moment. All things are impermanent. Even the body is not us. By the way, don't believe anything I say. This is the 3 spiritual teachings taught by the Buddha. What's up, guys? Bradley Marcus is here. If you follow me on TikTok, you know I love talking about Buddhism. I love talking about Buddhist philosophy. And today, we're going to talk about the 3 spiritual teachings taught by the Buddha. I wrote them down even to make sure that I didn't miss them. If you're new here, this is what I like to do. I like to talk about philosophy, why we're here, and ultimately how to be happy. That's what the Buddha taught ultimately in the end. All of these teachings really lead to one thing: how to be ultimately happy right here, right now. Not that we have to wait to be happy in the future. We can do it right here, right now. And yeah. Number 1, life is suffering. The Buddha taught that life is suffering, right? Not exactly. Now, what the Buddha really taught is that the clinging that we have to what is known as the 5 aggregates in our life is what leads to dukkha, or suffering. The truth is that the Buddha never said the words life is suffering. He only said that if we let it be, it can be suffering. And I can elaborate a bit on this right now, and I'm not going to go too deep because I can make a whole video on the 5 aggregates. So, life is suffering if we let it be. That means that if we cling to any of these 5 aggregates, then we will suffer. Ask yourself, the last time that you experienced some mental unwell-being, some dissatisfaction, what were you clinging to? See, dukkha is what the Buddha talked about. Dukkha means suffering, but that's not the only translation. The other translations are dissatisfaction or stress even. So that means that ultimately, it's not that life is suffering, but life can be unsatisfactory. And the cause of that, the reason of that, is clinging. So if you can remember that one word, clinging, it'll change your life. Ask yourself next time you experience some dukkha or unsatisfactoriness, what am I clinging to? And if you can uproot that thing you're clinging to in that moment, guaranteed you will end your suffering in that moment, and you will live a happy and peaceful and beautiful life, just like a lot of practicing Buddhists do. Number 2, anicca. Anicca is another Pali word like dukkha, but the difference is its translation. Anicca simply means impermanence. The other spiritual teaching, the 2nd spiritual teaching that the Buddha taught, is that all things are impermanent. I'm going to say it again because it's probably one of the most profound things ever said in human existence. All things are impermanent. That means me and you, baby. That means we're impermanent too. That means this body is impermanent. This ring is impermanent. This hat is impermanent. The moment is impermanent. The happiness is impermanent. The unhappiness, the pleasure, the non-pleasure, all of it is impermanent. So you might as well just enjoy it while it's here. And if it's something that is not really good or not something you want to enjoy, just know it's impermanent. There's an old story that goes along with this, and it's not Buddhist, but I think it's really profound. So, back in the day, there was a king who ruled a huge kingdom, filled with all different types of people. There were peasants, there were noble knights, there were just people who owned land and different types of dukes, and every day, something would happen. Something good or something bad. On one day, there would be a storm that would roll in and take over the entire town and destroy many buildings and cause much damage. The next day, a new clan would join the town and would upbring their economy and bring much wealth, riches, and inventions to make life better for the townspeople. So one day, the king turned to his staff and he said, "Would you mind finding a saying, something that I can say to people that would help them in times of good and times of bad? Take as much time as you need and come back to me." So months went by and the staff searched far and wide. And eventually they came back to the king with this saying: "This too shall pass. In times of bad, this too shall pass. In times of good, this too shall pass." So the Buddha taught this way before this time of the king, of course, and it is a true saying that is what Buddhists call Dhamma. Dhamma simply means truth. And the truth is that all things are impermanent. And the spiritual teaching of anicca is something so profound that it will hit you in waves. Like me telling you this right now is cool, but live with this saying. And in the days, weeks, months, and even years to come, it will unfold before your very eyes. Mark my words. And finally, the third spiritual teaching that the Buddha gave, the first being that life is suffering if we let it be, the second being all things are impermanent, and the final thing, all things are not us. This is the teaching of anatta. It means non-self or no soul. It's a bit of a complex philosophical topic that I can save for another video and have made videos on. But anatta simply means that the things that we cling to, those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions, those sensations, those mental formations are not who we are. So that pleasant thought that you had about that ice cream yesterday, it's not you. That pleasant experience of food that you ate, or that pleasant moment that you had with another person, or that unpleasant thought that made you feel terrible, it's not you. The clothes on your skin are not you. Even the body is not us. This is, again, somewhat of an advanced philosophical topic because while it may be surface level, okay, yeah, I get it, these things are not us, ask yourself, how often are you actually feeling like these things are you? How often do you get attached and cling to how your body looks? How often do you get attached and cling to that ice cream cone? There are so many things in our daily lives that we attach and cling to, and in turn, we experience dukkha. So the Buddha taught that life is suffering if we let it be, because we cling to these things that are impermanent, and these things that are ultimately not us. I hope that was helpful. This was a bit of a random video, but YouTube told me that you guys would like it. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you want me to make any more videos regarding dukkha, regarding anicca, or regarding anatta, go ahead and leave the comments and all that jazz. Anyway, may you guys be well, may you be happy. You know that the whole reason that I post on this channel is to teach you Buddhist principles to help end your own suffering, for you to be happier in life. By the way, don't believe anything I say. All I ask is that you take these teachings and you sit down on a meditation cushion and you meditate on them, and then you can decide if life really leads to suffering because we cling to things, or if life really has impermanent things in it, or if life really has all of these things that are not us, not who we are. Thank you. May you be well. See you next time.